Hello, namaste and welcome in the series of cybersecurity. This side is Meena and today I will discuss about what are the most common sandbox evasion techniques. Hackers, cyber criminals are using different techniques even to evade sandboxing. Okay, they developed so many ways to identify. Yes, now they are in sandbox or in virtual environment. They are under testing. So, how this they come to know? Yes, they are under testing and now they need not to show their complete functionality, how to hide themselves, how to just be in dormant so that their intentions cannot be catched by the technologies. Okay, so what are those techniques? First of all, they can find out is there any kind of user interaction. Okay, uh, in the automated mode or in the sandboxing, definitely that's not human interaction. Okay, so no mouse movement or the scrolling the document or the clicking mouse clicking rate. So they just mint in they just have the techniques, they are just having the methods to find out the movement of the mouse, clicking rate, or even there are the document. They will just see at the particular locations. If that not scrolled down, then that means they need not to be that they need not to execute the code. Okay, so sometimes hackers are using RTF or the words document. If that's not scrolled up to 2 pages, it will not execute their code. Okay, so they are just trying to find out whether they are in the sandboxing or a human is interacting with it. Okay, so if they will find yes they are in sandboxing, no attack. Okay, just be silent. Okay, and another what is the another way? They also analyze the system, whatever the CPU characteristics, because inside the sandboxing the CPU is virtualized. Okay, so hypervisor they are using, they will just find out what kind of files in the systems. Might be some files name is sandbox vm exe or some sandbox tools. They will just try to find out all these things. So what are the CPU rate, what of rotation, or what the processing power they are using, what's the version of the CPU. They will just try to find out those information, and definitely whatever the sandboxing we are using, that's virtualization. So they will able to identify yes this is the sandbox machine, this is not actual machine. Okay, so they will just identify with the help of the CPU, or the even the rebooting of the systems. So once the malware downloaded on the system and it will not execute until the next reboot. Okay, because in case of sandbox, if we will reboot, each and everything will vanish. Okay, so they will just identify yes this is not actual uh, actual device. Okay, another is environmental access. Okay, they will just find out what is the hardware is on the machine, what processes they are using related to the sandboxing, what is the real life environment. They will try to find out, because hardware configuration definitely will be different in case of sandboxing, because that's a virtualization. So again they will find out yes is that hardware used in the VMware or then the sandboxing or in the on the actual machine. If that's not the actual machine, that means they need not to run the malicious. Okay, and they will also delay the execution. Means, for example, there is a malware downloaded on this one. For example, say there is a malware and they download on the machine, okay, and after few hours or for say 3 days, okay, for 3 days of the download, then they will execute, because once the program we will run in the sandbox, we will not wait for the 3 days or for 4 days or 5 days, but the time period has been allocated to the malware. They will not wait for this one. So when it will be run in the sandbox, that will not be execute the malicious code, okay. So that's time period they can also stay that execution, or they can also use data obfuscations techniques. They whatever the domain's name they will contact, they can change the IP address of that one name, and they can also pick out the blacklisted domain names, okay, because in nowadays there are the IPs or the domain name that's related to the blacklisted, okay, and once they will find out yes they are in the sandboxing, they just change their domain name, and they will also encrypt the data or the APIs which will not be readable for the team who is observing the result of the sandboxing, okay. So they can also hide themselves from the executions, or just to show that yes this is the malware. So just you can see here they are using different techniques to hiding themselves. So just not only the sandboxing, using the sandboxing and running the software inside it always the good idea, okay, because in advanced malware techniques they just developed hundreds of the techniques to evade themselves, okay. So these are not sufficient, we need lot of things to find out yes this is the malicious traffic, clear. So follow me on the Cybersecurity Prism and get the notification for the next interesting and informative session. Also share that session with your friends and group members as well, so that they will be able to understand what are the different techniques cyber criminals can use to hide their malicious code from the sandboxing, okay, and what are the ways they are using to hide themselves, okay. And in the next session I will discuss about what are the main firewall technologies. Namaste, see you in the next session.